Hi, my name is Julie, and today we are going to talk a little bit about rubber bands that you would wear with your braces. So we'll talk about how to put them on, how you can store them, especially like if you're eating at someone else's house. We'll also talk about what you can do with them when you are eating even at your own house. So to get started, you typically have a little pack of rubber bands like this. At least that's what mine look like. And they are, again, these very tiny little rubber bands that you put on your teeth, and usually it's to fix your bite. So first of all, I'll show you how I put mine on. It might be a little different for you. And I did used to need a mirror, and every so often I do have to use a mirror, but once you get the hang of it, you probably won't need that anymore, and you can just do it without looking. As I've mentioned in other videos, I do have this weird thing in the back where I actually have to hook a rubber band on the outside of my back tooth and on the inside of my back tooth on the same side. So it actually crosses over my teeth. That's the rubber band that I always put on first because it's so far in the back that if I try to put it on later, it just becomes very difficult because the two other rubber bands that I have in my mouth just kind of get in the way. So it's likely that you hopefully won't have to do this. Hopefully you won't have one of these rubber bands, but in case you do, this is how you can put it on. For me, other rubber bands, any other configuration I've had, I can pretty much just put them on with one hand. But this one I can't. I have to use two, otherwise it's going to result in like a twist or possibly having to get flung off. Let me go ahead and show you that. So there's a hook on the top back of my teeth, and then there's one on the inside and the back on the bottom. So I'll show you that. So it's up in there. And then it's actually what they call a little button on the inside in there, which is where I have a molar band on the back. So I go ahead, I just hook it on there. So it's actually really easy. I don't really need to look at it. I just kind of feel with my finger where that back hook is, just because it's all the way on the back of my teeth. So I just kind of feel it, and then I loop it on there. And then I have to stick my finger in this loop here in order to have it not twist a lot, like that. And then I just let it roll off my finger onto the bottom there, like that. Okay, so now that that one's on and that's out of the way, I can start with the other two that are used to adjust my bite. So those ones are used to adjust my teeth and are actually shifting my teeth. The other two are both the same, they're just on different sides. So I'll show you that. And then this one goes on the left side. I put it on the back. It's on the same tooth that the rubber band is hooked on the inside, that bottom one. So I do have a rubber band on the inside and outside of that tooth, which is a little bit weird, but that's how I'm supposed to wear them, so I do it. So I hook it on the back one, and then I hook it up on the top hook closest to the front. So you can see it there. I do the ones on the bottom similar to the way I do the one on the top. I can just kind of feel that back hook with my finger and get that on pretty easily. And then I can just pull it up and stretch it to the top front one. And I'll show you an issue I typically have with that too. Got it hooked. So every once in a while, which this might happen with the next one, sometimes I get it hooked over this hook and the one behind it, which is not how I'm supposed to wear them. So I always make sure I fix it if I know that that happens. The best way I can avoid that in the first place is basically just by using a mirror, because sometimes I don't use a mirror and then I have to go back in and fix it anyway. Okay, so last one, same thing, just on the opposite side. Sometimes I use my thumb to hook it and then my first finger to hook it on this one, but you can do whatever works best for you. Just like that. So now I have all three rubber bands in there, and then I'll show you one other way to do it because I did used to have a different rubber band configuration, and I know it can be helpful to see if there's a different way. So you might have to hook them on a different way just depending on what your orthodontist requires of you and the bite of your mouth and how it needs to be adjusted. Initially, I had them hook on the 4 front brackets here, which I actually found a lot easier than the way I have to do it now. So I'll go ahead and show you that. And then also this can kind of be a little lesson on how to take them off. I just kind of grab it in the middle and pop it up one way and then pop it back. Like that. And it comes off really easily. I'll do that with the other one too. So since the this configuration doesn't mess with the back rubber band and I'm supposed to be wearing the back rubber band, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that on. So this one, I just kind of would feel the hooks with my fingers on top and bottom and just get that hooked on there. So here, so again, these 2 front hooks and then the 2 front hooks on the bottom. So here. So it's a little bit easier because I can do one, then the other, and then I can just use my finger to find the bottom hooks and let it roll right off. Oh, so it didn't hook on the top, so I got to make sure I fix that. Like that. So that's the other way that I used to have to wear them, but I'm going to go ahead and re-put them on the way I'm supposed to wear them so that I am wearing them correctly. Actually, before I get this last one on, one other tip I want to mention. When I first got rubber bands, I struggled to put them on, and I don't know why I was doing this, but for some reason I would hook it on a couple hooks, and then I would like open my mouth really far as I tried to hook it, which I don't recommend. It makes it so much harder. Make sure you keep your mouth closed because I'll show you. So it's basically doing this. And like trying to stretch it all the way up there, which really is not a good way of doing it. So just close your mouth and then get them hooked on, and then you can open your mouth and talk normally. So there you go. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then you're all set. A couple of other things I wanted to mention is typically if I'm around the house and I'm eating a snack or eating dinner or something, I will just take my rubber bands off and put them on my plate or on a napkin. But depending on what I'm eating, if my plate is like fully taken up with food or I'm using my napkin, I can't always do that. So I actually carry these little tea plates around the house with me, and I put my rubber bands on here and just set them nearby. That way I know that I always have them and I don't lose them. So I can put them in, I can take them off right before I eat and then put them in right after. But again, these plates only really work for at home because they are glass and I don't really care to carry them with me to other people's houses. So when I am at someone else's house and I am have my braces and I need to take my rubber bands off, I will typically set them on my plate or a napkin. But sometimes before I get the chance to put my rubber bands back on, the host comes and starts like cleaning off the table, and then I like panic because I don't want them to throw away my napkin or my plate. Basically, I don't want my rubber bands to be thrown away. I do carry spare ones in case that does happen or in case one breaks, which has only happened a couple times. Also, another thing you can do is when you're going to someone else's house, carry an empty wax container. So I just put my rubber bands in there. And it's really great because it's super slim. So you can just slide it in your pocket or purse or something. That way you know that you don't lose them and you know that no one's going to accidentally throw them away. And those are just my quick tips for you, is basically just the way you can kind of put your rubber bands on there, but also making sure that you have something to put them on, either like a little plate or a little container to put them in when you're not wearing them when you're eating. So that's just something that I've found to be helpful, and maybe you will too. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a really great rest of the day.